Alright, brewing a Red's Rye clone. I couldn't find any Amarillo, so I'm going with a huge amount of Cascade and some Australian Galaxy at the end. Actually thrown in some Pearl too, I don't know where that is. It's in this pile somewhere. I have my brewing liquor sitting out overnight in 10 gallons in my Rubbermaid hot liquor tank, and probably about 12 or 13 gallons in my boil kettle. Supposedly if you leave chlorinated water out overnight, the chlorine will dissipate if you leave it in an unopened container. I also, just for good measure, spiked it with some Camden tablets just to get rid of that any chlorine that may be in there. So now I'm getting started here. It's quite loud outside. Just heating my strike water, and my recipe calls for 7.85 gallons of strike water, which I'll heat to 168 to achieve a mash temperature of 154 for an hour. I didn't really measure it. I got my measuring stick here. Brand new. Let's see how much we got here. It's about 9.5 gallons. I don't know if you can see that. 9.5 gallons. It's about right. Maybe a little bit more than I need, but better to have more than too little. You always want to heat a little bit of extra strike water, just in case you undershoot your temperature. You can have it the rest of the water coming up to a boil as you're mashing in. Therefore, if you undershoot your mash temperature, you're going to be able to dump that in and raise it by a degree or two if you need. Alternatively, you're going to add some cold water if you overshoot your mash temperature. You just want to hit that right on the nose if you can. And the cooler is really good at maintaining mash temperature for the whole hour. So, alright, I'll see you at the next step. Alright, my brewing water, or strike water, is about right, 170, a little over 168 degrees. I'd rather have to dilute it down with a little cold rather than add hot back in. So starting a little bit high. Now we're filling the mash tun. Actually going to start a little low on the volume because I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to fit all my grain in there. But so I'm going to start with about 7 gallons and see how thick that is, see how full my mash tun is. I've also, while the water is coming up, measured out my mash addition of it's got calcium chloride, gypsum, which is calcium carbonate, and Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate. See my addition numbers there. I'm going to add 5 grams of each calcium chloride and gypsum to the mash, as well as 6 grams of magnesium sulfate, and then add some salts to the boil as well, just to get my my mineral content where I want it. You know, our water's it's pretty soft. It's got some chlorine in it, but it doesn't really have a lot of the salts you're looking for. So I like to build up my water profile based on the beer. And I'll mash in here in a minute, and we'll give you another shot of the mash. I managed to mash in low anyway. It's about 153, which I'll have to do because I'm out of space. Can't add any more hot water. I think it may be hotter down in the bottom of the grain bed. Added my brewing salts, so I will cover it up here for about 10 minutes and then take a pH reading, and hopefully it's in the right zone, somewhere in the 5.4, 5.2 range. It's good. Looks like it's going to be a nice color. Got a nice amount of rye in there. Make it a red ale. So yeah, I will start heating my sparge water soon. Don't want to wait too long on that, otherwise you get caught caught with your pants down and caught waiting. Alright, just took a mash pH reading, and it is just around 5.1. I'd say between 5.4 and 5.0, which is great. I'm in good shape there. Just measured out my boil additions of salts. I'm going to get this pile of hops in order, and all we have to do now is wait. I'm going to mash for about 50 minutes. Conversion's usually done by 35, 40 minutes, but I usually give it an extra. Most people mash for an hour. I usually give it a little bit less than that, and find I'm not undershooting my efficiency by any means. So start heating my sparge water, and we'll be sparging before you know it. Alright, mashing here, about 20 minutes left. Got my sparge water up to temperature, and preheating my sparge, my hot liquor tank. I just use an electric tea kettle to boil, half a gallon of water. Threw it in there, and I'm going to splash it around. That's just to make sure I don't get any heat loss in the hot liquor tank. And then we'll transfer the sparge water over to the HLT, and once our 20 minutes are up, we will Vorloft and start collecting. Alright, 50 minutes elapsed. Check the temperature here, should be pretty stable. It's pretty good. We lost a degree or two over the 50 minutes. But again, there could be pockets of heat down in the bottom of this mash, so it's 152 on the surface. It may be hotter down below. Getting ready to Vorloft here. Vorlofting means just running off, recirculating to clarify the wort before we start collecting. And see if I can get a shot of that. It's a little bit labor intensive, so it's going to be hard to hold the camera while I Vorloft. But let's see what I can do.